Hello all and welcome to one more class on nervous system. This is very important to be understood. So the nervous system is one of the systems which will establish control and coordination in the case of animals. So this nervous system which is there is divided into two types, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The main central nervous system includes organs like brain and spinal cord, whereas the peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves coming from the brain and spinal cord. The nerves are included as peripheral nervous system. So peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves which are coming from the brain and spinal cord. So those which are coming from the brain, they are called the cranial nerves, and there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves which will come from the brain region. And then you have from spinal cord, we have 31 pairs of nerves which are coming out, which are called the spinal nerves. So altogether the peripheral nervous system is composed of 43 pairs of nerves, okay, constituted by the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. This peripheral nervous system is also divided into voluntary nervous system and involuntary nervous system. So what is voluntary nervous system? Which will be helping in controlling the voluntary actions of your body. It is also called the somatic nervous system. Whereas we have involuntary nervous system, okay, which will be controlling all the involuntary actions, that is actions which cannot be controlled by your senses, by yourselves, okay, something which are going on internally inside your body without your concern. They are called the involuntary actions. So this includes the autonomous nervous system. Involuntary nervous system is also called actually autonomous nervous system. So like this, the peripheral nervous system includes the nerves, okay, and also it is divided into voluntary and involuntary nervous system. The voluntary nervous system is called the somatic nervous system. Involuntary is called the autonomous nervous system. Then next, coming to the main structure for today is brain. So brain actually constitutes 2% of your whole body weight, and it is about 1400 grams in the case of males and about 1300 grams in the case of females. And it takes up most of the oxygen that our body takes. Nearly 20% of our oxygen is getting utilized by the brain. So brain, when you see, it is protected outside by the skull or the cranium. So this bony structure, whatever you have, it is the skull or the cranium which will be protecting the soft part called as brain. So we have the cranium like this. Then we have the main part of the brain. The main part of the brain is called the cerebrum. Okay, the main part here, whatever you see, is called cerebrum. Actually, your brain is divided into three regions. Okay, as you can see, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain are the three regions. Forebrain is composed of the part cerebrum and diencephalon. Cerebrum and diencephalon. So what is the cerebrum? Whatever the structure you are seeing here, the main structure, whenever you see the diagram of brain, you see all the foldings like that on the top. That all folded structure represents what is called as cerebrum, which is made up of two cerebral hemispheres. It is actually made up of two halves which are called the hemispheres. So the two cerebral hemispheres will make up the cerebral portion. Forebrain is composed of cerebrum and also diencephalon. So diencephalon region is present somewhere here. So diencephalon and cerebrum, that is just beneath the cerebrum, you have the diencephalon. So both of them together will form what is called the forebrain. Next we have is the midbrain. Midbrain is composed of optic lobes. So optic lobes are concerned with the vision. So we have the midbrain region which is concerned with the vision property, and we have the hindbrain. The hindbrain includes, this is the cerebellum, and you have the medulla oblongata. So this structure you can see is the medulla oblongata, and this structure you are seeing is the cerebellum. So cerebellum and medulla oblongata will form the hindbrain. So like this, our brain is divided into three regions: the forebrain, midbrain and the hindbrain. Then coming to the properties of these structures which are present there, cerebrum basically is responsible for all your capabilities, that is mental ability, thinking, memory, perception, emotion, speech, and also response to heat, cold, pain and pressure are the functions of the cerebrum. Then next, coming to the diencephalon. Diencephalon, it is a relay center. It is a relay center, okay, for sensory impulses, muscular activities. Okay, it will also act as a center for blood pressure and also for sleep and hunger. So these are all the functions of diencephalon. So in general, you can remember that cerebrum is responsible for all your mental abilities, your thinking, your perception, whatever you are able to feel through your mind, all that is because of the cerebrum. Okay, next coming to midbrain, I told that midbrain is just composed of optic lobes. So the main function would be hearing, and also the main function would be seeing, okay, because it is composed of optic lobes which will be helping in vision. So apart from vision, also hearing is one more function of the midbrain. Coming to the hindbrain, which is composed of cerebellum and also the medulla oblongata. Cerebellum actually is a structure which will help in maintaining the balance and posture of your body. Okay, so you are able to balance your body when you are standing or when you are sitting, and your posture is also maintained because of the functioning of the cerebellum. Cerebellum is called the Chinna Medudu. In Telugu, it is called the Chinna Medudu. So cerebellum is there, and medulla oblongata is responsible for all the involuntary functions. That is the sneezing, coughing, vomiting, the reflexes, whatever that occur, and also internally your heartbeat and the opening and closing of your blood vessels, which are called the vasomotor functions. All these involuntary functions would be regulated by medulla oblongata. Cerebellum for balance as well as posture, equilibrium of your body will be maintained, and also it will help in coordinating the voluntary movements of your body. So like this, we have different parts of the brain helping in performing different functions. So on the whole, okay, we know that brain is the main controlling organ in our body, which controls all activities, whatever you perform. You are able to see, you are able to hear, you are able to do any activity. It is only because of the brain, and it is well protected therefore by the skull or the cranium. So here we can see gray matter. What is this gray matter? So your brain is having gray matter outside and white matter inside. Gray matter is composed of the cell bodies of neurons. I said that these structures are made up of neurons, and we have seen that in neurons cyton is there, which is the cytoplasm or the cell body. So usually all cell bodies will be concentrated towards the outer surface, and that region is called the gray matter region. Internally, all the axons will be present internally, and that will be called the white matter region. So these foldings which are seen like this, the upward and downward foldings, these are called the gyri and sulci. They are called the gyri and sulci. Okay, so the depressions and elevations will be there like that, and you have the cerebellum, the medulla, the pons region. Here you have a very important structure, the pituitary gland and hypothalamus. So actually, pituitary gland is the master gland which will control, okay, all other endocrine glands in our body, and it is present in the hypothalamus region there. Okay, so and your brain basically is covered by three layers on the top. Apart from the cranium, when you open the cranium, inside on the top of the brain we have three layers, and those layers, they are called as the meninges. What they are called? They are called meninges. So we have different types of meninges. Actually, there are three meninges are there. So you can see I have drawn them as lines here. So the meninges, there are three meninges are there. The first one is called the dura mater. The middle one is called the arachnoid mater, and internally you have the pia mater. So these three together also will form a covering on the top, and also your brain is protected by what is called as the cerebrospinal fluid. So between these layers, which are called the meninges, will be flowing a fluid which will be called the cerebrospinal fluid. So this cerebrospinal fluid will offer protection to your brain against shocks and jerks. Okay, so when you talk about the structures which are giving protection to the brain, the first one would be skull, followed by that would be the meninges. So the three meninges, you have dura mater, arachnoid mater, and the pia mater, and then followed by that, in between these meninges will be present the cerebrospinal fluid. The meninges also extends into the spinal cord. So down like this, the spinal cord will run. On the top of the spinal cord also you have the covering of meninges, which will be giving protection to the spinal cord. So like this, we have a quick understanding about the brain, okay, which is very, very important from examination point of view. You need to thoroughly understand the parts of the brain and their functions.